Hello, I'm your Superhero Critic, and I'm here once again with my wife Aradia for a new review. In 1993, the company of Wildstorm Comics created a superhero team called Gen13, about a group of heroes that all get their powers genetically passed down to them instead of gaining them from an accident or something like that. By 98, the comic had burst into popularity and an animated movie was put into the works. The film was then aired at Wizard World Chicago, July 17, 1998.
The film was finally finished by 1999, but because Wildstorm had been bought out by DC Comics, the people who were distributing the film, the people at Disney, did not want to compete with a fellow company. The company being Time Warner, they decided to shelve the movie for a release. It wasn't until 2010 that channels would start airing the film outside of the U.S.
However, due to awesome sites like YouTube, I have found not the best quality, but good enough quality to do a review on it, versions of this film. So we bring to you Gen 13. Our film starts with a car being chased by a helicopter, and after the driver crashes, the man in the helicopter proceeds to gun down the woman they are chasing. And the man goes into a psychic rage, destroying the helicopter. He then hands the baby off to his other child before he himself is gunned down. What a way to start a movie.
We jump to our main character who wakes up due to nightmares and is late for her class. She runs into a military man who tells her she's been selected for a Project Genesis. She takes the brochure and heads to her class.
Miss Fairchild! I trust the great Caesar in boring you. Or perhaps it's just me.
Oh, no, sir, not at all. I find it all fascinating. Although, I think that Elysia was taken by the Romans constructing a series of trenches and palisades, not a ramp. Maybe you're confusing the Gaulish rebellion with that of the Jews in AD 74, where Flavius Silva captured the city of Masada by engineering a massive ramp. And, well, it's just that I think that Julius Caesar was titled dictator. It was his adopted son Augustus who became the first emperor of Rome.
Caitlin heads back to her dorm, only to get locked out due to her slut of a roommate, before we jump to Caitlin choosing to head to Project Genesis, where we meet our German headmaster as she explains all the rules to Caitlin. We then meet all of the other supporting characters, one of which, who goes by Grunge, is played by Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and Roxy, who's played by Elizabeth Daily, the voice of Buttercup from Powerpuff Girls, and Tommy Pickles from the Rugrats.
We go to a training session with our main villain, Matthew Callahan, where after getting hit, he psychically breaks his sparring partner's ankle. Matt gets a call from his partner, Ivana. This call is informing him about Caitlin's information, and we learn she may be a Gen 12 child. We then go into a training montage set to some techno music.
We then go to another sparring practice that after Caitlin gets her ass kicked, Matt forces her to go another round, resulting in Caitlin getting enraged and kicking her opponent's ass. After the fight, Caitlin breaks down with a huge headache. In the showers, Roxy and Caitlin get to know each other more with girl talk, as the two of them give each other their backstories. Later that night, a gas is put into Caitlin's room and knocks her unconscious as men come into the room and abduct her as well as Grunge and Roxy.
All the little leaplings are tucked into the incubation tubes like larvae in cocoons, waiting to metamorphose into magnificent butterflies. Butterflies of our own creation.
Is anybody else creeped out by the Germans' words and analogies? Are you?
Not really, but that's just me.
Maybe I'm just creepy.
She sounds weird, but
Maybe I'm just creepy.
yes, you are creepy.
Hey. Hi there, subscribers. I'm not weird at all.
Nope. Just completely insane. Yay! Our villains begin their test when a plane lands with Colonel Jack Lynch, who argues with Ivana about closing down Project Genesis, as we go into a flashback of the young boy from the beginning of the film running from the helicopter and eventually falling down a waterfall, losing the baby down a whirlpool.
Caitlin wakes up not knowing what happened the night before. They head to breakfast where, after a conversation between Lynch and Matt, Caitlin and Lynch meet for the first time and discuss her father very smallly before they have to depart and go to their classes. As Matt and Ivana argue over whether or not any of the subject's powers will activate. Caitlin's headaches start getting worse as she tries to find some help. She stumbles to a computer where she learns more information about her father.
Hey, Caitlin.
Whoa, chill out.
Can I help you?
Yeah.
Maybe later.
The trio's alone time is quickly interrupted by a lone gunman who tries to control them. After hitting Caitlin and Grunge in the face, our hero gets another headache as the pain makes her power activate.
Somebody make it stop! What is this? What's happening?
And now I have a super boner.
Too bad she's not real.
She's real to me.
But remember, you're insane.
Grunge gives Caitlin some cover as more men come in to try to subdue the trio. The men are quickly taken out by Caitlin as her Amazonian personality becomes more apparent. Matt informs Ivana of the incident, and she sets all of her men out to get our heroes. The three of them hide in the ceiling, and Grunge almost gives away their position via farts.
All right, this place is clear. Let's move it.
My apologies, ladies.
I told you not to scarf so many chili dogs. You never listen to me.
And you thought my farts were bad.
I don't have to smell that one.
Dutch ovens!
The trio discuss potential plans as they go through lockers to find something for Caitlin to wear, ending at Helga's suit. Some henchmen drop a grenade into the locker rooms, knocking out Roxy and Grunge as Caitlin gets blasted out of the building. The chase begins as more men chase down Caitlin around the facility, but she uses her intelligence to save herself for a little bit until Helga shows up in a mecha suit and tries to take Caitlin out. That doesn't end well for Helga at all.
Holy hammer!
As Caitlin checks on Helga, she gets psychic flashes as if she could feel Grunge's and Roxy's pain as they are being tortured for more information, even though they don't have any. After Ivana goes to respond to another call, Matt announces he knows the two of them are telling the truth. Of course, he puts his captives through more torture in order to force activate their powers.
Caitlin takes this said mecha suit to pose as Helga, but is quickly figured out as henchmen shoot the suit down. Our hero then takes on the troops head on. Back at the torture chamber, Matt, now calling himself Threshold, decides to torture Roxy instead of Grunge, which pisses off Grunge, making him come into his own powers.
You stinking pusswad!
Now he's a real Man of Steel.
That's Superman!
I didn't know that. I don't read comic books.
Grunge checks in on Roxy, and the scene ends with the two of them kissing as we jump to Caitlin, who walks into... as she has to take out henchmen after henchmen before Grunge and Roxy show up to help. Grunge gets knocked out, and as Ivana goes to shoot a tank at Caitlin, our hero throws a helmet into the tank's nozzle.
Fire!
I do believe that backfired on you.
Ivana shows our heroes that she has a metal arm, and the battle begins as Ivana throws Caitlin around. Grunge steps in after coming to and rips Ivana's claw off her body. Our heroes try to make their escape via helicopter, but their escape is short-lived as Matt literally blows up the pilot. And as our heroes fall, Roxy's power finally activates.
Hey, don't look at me.
Well, it's not me.
You just can't leave us alone. I mean, man, I just want to get the hell away from here. Just let us go home, but no! He's 5,000 feet up, hanging there in the sky, waiting for us. Come on, will someone please give me a break?
Hey, quit the yammering and take a look around.
What? Hey.
Matt then tries to convince our trio to use their powers to take down the government that killed their parents. When they refuse, he uses his power to take them out, only for Caitlin to save the group from the psychic blast. The fight then goes back and forth as each member takes a chance at taking Matt down.
Falcon Punch!
After the three of our heroes use their powers together to take Matt down, Lynch shows up and we learn the shocking truth about Matt and Caitlin.
They're not your enemy, Threshold. Ivana and Craven are the ones who created Gen12 and Gen13.
Not you, Lynch? Not one of the government stooges responsible for hunting down my parents like animals?
Your parents were friends whose lives I couldn't save.
I'll make you eat those lies. After I finish with these three.
You're making a mistake, Matthew. This is the last person that you want to harm. Caitlin is your sister.
Dun, dun, dun! Kitty! Ivana interrupts our touching catch-up moment by setting off the self-destruct of the base. As the rest of the heroes get away in a plane, Matt chooses to stay behind without saying anything. As our movie ends, Lynch convinces our heroes to train under his watch as they go off to the sunset before the credits roll. Ready?
Why does this movie end in such a cliffhanger? The lovebirds have their happy day, they're fine and dandy. But the brother and sister who just found out they're related don't get to actually get to know each other, have their story explained. They just get to have one go off and supposedly die. And then the other one be like, oh, I'm almost happy.
Well, to explain that, this film had the potential to not only make a lot of money, but at the same time set up for a lot of sequels. But the two companies did not want to cooperate and work together, so this film ended on a cliffhanger to produce sequels. So, with that being said, if you want to know more about Matt and Caitlin's backstories, you actually have to pick up a Gen13 comic. I highly suggest doing that if you've never heard of Gen13. It is a really good comic line. I personally like it. I don't know about her, but because she doesn't read comics, and I kind of forced her to do this video. Anyway, Other than that, I highly suggest watching the film as well without my commentary on it, just so you can see how good this film actually is. The only thing that a lot of people seem to be bugged out about is the voice acting quality, but it's got Mark Hamill playing the voice of Matt, and E.B. Daly has Roxy. I think the acting was good, but that's my personal opinion. So other than that, I'm your superhero critic. I'll stay super as long as you stay awesome.